Test. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'd all stand and join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have no add-ons. So, public forum regarding agenda items. State your name, speak into it. Yeah, press the button, make sure it's on. You can pull it down towards you.
Hi, my name's Barb DeLucio. I went to a meeting this morning of the board. They had a presentation from New York class about how you handle your finances, and I was very impressed. It wasn't like a sales job, it was just a presentation. New York class is, what do I want to call it, a group that it's all municipalities, school districts, it can be fire districts, counties, and they handle, you invest with them. They act like a bank for you. And the interest rate is much higher than what I understand the board is getting now. So, and the terms are very good. I was very impressed. Compounded daily. You can make transfers in and out without any extra fees. Fees are taken out before interest, and it's very, very low. It's just across the board, up like 0.1, 0.2%, I think, 0.12. And the interest rate on it that it's giving right now is 5.25%, which I understand is better than what you're getting. So I was very impressed, and I know it's going to come up maybe for a vote later, and just if there's anything, are you going to explain more about it to people? No, I just, I think I've answered what it is so that people that weren't at the meeting would know what you're voting on. So, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Old business. We have a presentation, Mr. Grobowski. Ed, you want to? Yeah, before we get into the reports.
It's been a while since I've been on this side of the bench. In a good way, by the way, representing people. So I want to thank you for letting me speak, and I have several issues. First of all, a caveat that the court isn't in existence to raise funds. I want everybody to know that, because I want to talk a little bit about two of the bills that are coming up soon. Our function is to protect constitutional rights and apply justice to criminal and civil cases. And I know some of you have sat in on the courts. Several meetings ago, I know Mr. Zeleny and Mr. Schiffer talked about the audit of the board. We welcomed them in, and everything was fine. We will have Allied coming in the next couple of months to do the state one. That audit that was done by the two council people was sent to Albany like we were supposed to do. And as you may know, Shelby and Ridgeway Court are both here. I want to thank Stacy and Miranda, Vicki, and Pat for assisting in applying for a Justice Court Assistance Program grant. It's called JCAP. And I'm sure you guys noticed we have all brand new chairs and the TV sets. And we actually got, by the way, the TV sets were necessary because we had trials. Joe, Mr. Kuyava, already had a trial, and they worked great. I was supposed to have a trial Friday. It got canceled for medical reasons. with the prosecution. But it's to play the body cams and any of the video footage that we get. So they're working out great. That was part of the JCAP grant. The other part was we had almost $1,800 additional. So unfortunately, the way the state works, if we didn't use it, we had to reapply and modify the grant. So Albany told us to use it. So we used it for stationery supplies, toner, things like that. So we got almost, and postage, because we use a lot of postage. So since 2013, the JCAP grants have totaled $33,904.63. That's how much we've gotten in grants for the two courts, because Ridgeway and Shelby are combined. Okay, we've gotten a new computer server. We got the panic buttons that you got to be careful under the bench because they call the police. And in the office, we have that. We got a new scanner in court entrance. We got the metal scanner at the court entrance. We got all the new video, both inside and out, that's recorded in the court office. The total cost for everything over those years was $3,417. So it's a big investment. And the reason I really want to speak tonight is the attempt to change the courts. I gave you guys copies of a resolution because the state, I think they're on there, bill number Senate S001139B and Assembly Bill A1358B have to do with making the top largest 100 courts in New York State, justice courts, attorney judges. Well, the problem with that is a lot of the large courts can't afford it because there's not a budget. And, by the way, a lot of the courts do have attorney judges, a lot of the larger ones. So they want to push through that 100, the top 100 should have attorney judges, which would raise the budget for a lot of the courts. Because what they're attempting to do is, in the future years, expand that so every justice court has an attorney justice. Okay. And by the way, the materials for that are on the New York State Assembly and Senate bill website if you want to read them. Okay. And that would require attorney judges in a lot of the courts. And I gave you a resolution to look at if you guys are interested in it. Secondly, I want to talk about the district court. I'm sure you've seen it on the hub, and there's been articles pro and con on there. There was a hearing in July of 2023 that turned out not to be a proper public hearing. A lot of people were there, and more recently, May 7th, last Tuesday night, during my court night, they had another hearing over in Albion, and they have one coming up June 4th. So if anybody's interested, you can go to the county building on June 4th and be in person and speak pro or con, or just listen to what's going on. And video transcripts are available on the website. It's the Orleans County website. You go to the District Attorney tab, and right in there, there's a tab you can go into, and it has all these materials on it, as well as the video and audio from those meetings. New York State magistrates and Orleans County magistrates and clerks are opposed to it, and there's several reasons we're opposed to it. The main one is we have an inflation problem. I know you guys are acutely aware of it with taxes and everything, and we don't believe that the district court committee has come up with proper figures. The other part of it is if they pull the cases from the local justice courts to the district court, that would leave just local ordinances or dog cases and some civil stuff at the justice court. And the answer to that the committee says is, well, the town board can get rid of the justice court. Well, our position is that we're closest to the people. So we know a lot of the people who come in, and we're equally fair with everybody. And like I said, a lot of this is on that website. Oh. Hello, testing. So anyhow, the district court would be in Albion. And the problem with that, if you look at the materials, it requires attorney judges. OCA, Office of Court Administration, sets the wages for those. And it's a minimum of $160,000 per judge. They anticipate 2 judges, but that doesn't include the law clerks that each of them get at $120,000, which are also attorneys. And the problem that we see with that, especially me, there's only 24 registered attorneys in Orleans County, and many of them already are in government jobs or are older than are required. If you're 70, you can't be a full-time judge. So I can get around that here. But we have probably out of the 24, 5 or 6 of us are over 70. There's probably 5 or 6 or 7 that are already working in government jobs, which eliminates all those people for that. The other part of it is if you're in a district court as a judge, you cannot have an outside office. So that eliminates more attorneys in the county for people to go to. So all that material is on that website. I keep saying that. The other part of it is OCA, we've talked to the 8th Department, which is what we're in. We go all the way over to the other side of Orleans County. There's eight counties in western New York in the 8th Department. They've told us that it's not on the OCA budget, on the state budget. And as we know, the state budget, if you look at the comptroller's office, he's anticipating I've read anywhere from $4 billion to $20 billion deficit. So if it gets passed, OCA may not fund it. The other part of it is judges, if you guys aren't aware, we sign up to work what's called a centralized arraignment part. So we take a week at a time, either in the morning or afternoon. And I made the mistake of signing up for morning and afternoon 2 weeks ago. And I had to buzz over to Albion 8 times. But we don't get woken up in the night. So we take turns doing that. It's much easier for the jail to just bring somebody down from upstairs and be arraigned right on the spot. The public defender has to be there, so their office is right next door. So they come over and stand in until a person can get an attorney. If they move the court to district court, centralized arraignment is removed. And I asked Chris Bork about this. He told me he'd have to put 2 extra correction officers on to transport prisoners from the jail to the district court. So that would add, and a lot of it has to do with money. The main part of it is I mentioned about justice courts. Justice courts are required by the New York State Constitution. You can look that up. The only way around that is what we did. A lot of people are aware of it. Prior to you guys, I don't know, Steve, you might have been on the board. We did a resolution combining Shelby, Ridgeway, and Yates. So Donnie Grabowski, Joe Kuyava, and I can sit in any court. So we cover for each other if need be, okay? Joe keeps pushing, and it did pass that we can have virtual arraignments, but there's no way that that's going to happen because there's all kinds of, and Kathy knows this, considerations about an attorney being present with a person. So it's difficult. They did it during COVID. I don't know how they did it, but they allowed it during COVID, but they're trying to get virtual arraignments, which is a difficult thing to do. And the only counties in New York State that has district court are Nassau and Suffolk. Nassau and Suffolk, each county has like 1.5 million people in it. They have 5 district courts. They handle specified things like drug court and everything. But each of the town justices still have a town court because those towns have millions in their budget, unlike the small counties and towns that we're in. So they could do that. So something would have to be done with the justice courts if they open up the district court. The other part of it that I keep bringing up is we have a limited transportation system in Orleans County. So everybody would have to get over to Albion somehow. So if you live up in Yates or Carlton or up in Kendall or someplace, you'd have to call an Uber or something to get there. And like I said before, the justice courts are the closest to the people. So I mentioned already that all this stuff can be found on the website. The other part of this is, I know the district committee, some of them are saying, well, we need to pass this to get ahead of the state. The problem with that is if we pass it and we're the only county that does it, we're stuck with it. You can't undo it. And my concern is, I think we're the third poorest county in the state. I read that someplace. So I don't know why they're picking on Orleans County, but they're trying to push it through. I believe that, we believe, the justices believe that local taxpayers should come first in the town of Shelby and Orleans County. Okay? You know, they say change is inevitable, but I think I would wait to make sure that the state passes something that says they're going to fund this. Included in your packet, I gave you a copy of the 9 unfunded mandates in Orleans County already. And I just read an article on the Hub that I think Lindenville raised their school taxes 1%. Albion raised it 4%, or the county raised it 4%. Albion, I think, went up like 5 or 6%. Everybody's taxes are going up. We're all getting reassessed, and we're concerned that it might get kind of expensive. I encourage all of you to look at those websites. The district court site that's on the DA's tab on the Orleans County site. And like I said, you can go to the New York State Assembly and Senate bills to look at that bill for 100 courts. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
This is going to public vote in November, right?
It is.
So
So the public hearings are May 7th and June 4th, but they're going to pass a resolution to put it on the November ballot.
Okay.
So it's going to be a referendum for the entire county.
So if this passes, they're saying New York State's going to cover the cost, but if New York State doesn't cover the cost next year, that falls on all of us.
Correct.
Plus we
And
have to
if you
pay-
look at the budget that, if you go to the district court site on the district attorney's website, he has, what he did, you guys may know, he collected the town budgets from all the towns. Well, some of them aren't correct, but the committee is saying that the town courts take in $1.2 million over all 10 towns. And what they would try to do is pull that to Albion. The other part of it I didn't mention is we do what's called traffic diversion program. Pardon me. So we give people the opportunity to take the class online. Okay, that's one of the things. I know some of you guys, I've seen you in here during traffic night. So we offer that to people. So they can go online, do the 8-hour class, and get their ticket reduced. Well, it costs money for that. It's $200 plus $20 a ticket. DWI, if the district attorney agrees to have the person go, if it's their first time, it's $400. 2/3 of that comes back to the town. So I don't know if Miranda's here, but every quarter I walk a check over to Miranda for about $3,000 or $4,000. Joe and district committee are thinking about pulling all of those traffic tickets, which I believe is going to be a jurisdictional problem. And they keep saying, well, it depends on where the police are going to write the ticket. So where you commit a crime or where you get the ticket is technically the jurisdiction it's supposed to be done in. I know Kathy's nodding her head and she knows that. So it could be a jurisdictional problem.
So if this district court goes in and New York doesn't pay for it, we have to pay for it, the county, and we have to maintain a local judge.
So
But we lose all the money making.
It was on the Hub that the county is buying GCC in 20 acres.
Yeah.
Plus they're buying the old Bank of America, which I agree with. That's a good spot for a treasurer's office. But they're thinking about moving the DA's office and probation over to GCC buildings and modifying that and putting the district court in there because they said that the public safety building needs too much money to repair it. I think Lynn Johnson said in one of her things it would cost $55 million. I think that might have been a misprint, but it would cost millions. So, yeah. To fix the public, if you go to the March 24 State of the County, Lynn Johnson put it up on the website. It says $55 million in there. So, and the other part of district court, I was talking to the attorney for the 8th Department. They come to our magistrates meeting we have every month. He told me because there would be 2 judges there, they have to have 6 New York State court officers in the court, where we have 2. All right. Judge Church has 2 or 3 because he's a single judge. But Dean, the attorney for the 8th Department, told me that if they have 2 judges, they have to have 6 New York State security officers, the ones that are like in the courthouse. And I would imagine those guys are making $50,000 or $60,000 each too. So I think maybe in the future, if there's more information, if some other county does this first, some county that has a little bit of money. I don't know why Orleans County was picked to try this out. Nassau and Suffolk County District Court has been in existence since the mid-'60s, but they can afford it. So I looked at, online. A lot of those justice courts take in $1.5 million.
So basically, this is going to cost us taxes.
I would guess.
Okay.
You can do your own research on that,
Right.
but that's my guess. So
You guys got any questions?
I gave you guys copies of that stuff. I have a few extra copies I can leave here. I also put on here how many cases that we handled last year in this justice court. A lot of this is misleading because even though it says started and closed, like there's 99 penal law cases, closed 30, that's because they're ongoing, because we either have to set up trials or we have investigations or whatever. But a lot of those cases are still going. If you were here Tuesday night, the place was packed. I probably had a dozen attorneys in here with all their clients. These guys know it's pretty packed in here. So I've got a couple extra copies I'll leave. Anything else?
No, we're good. Thanks, Ed.
So there are two resolutions, right, that you'd like the board to consider?
I thought there was one
That's
more.
correct. I split them up. Initially, we had the 100, the resolution opposing the 100 attorney judges. The other one is an opposition to district court, and it explains in there the reasoning that we have for that opposition. New York State Magistrates Association is against it. Most of the county magistrates associations are against it. And actually, at the last Tuesday, the May 7th hearing, we had the New York State Magistrates Association president there, as well as some of the past presidents, because they know if they can do this in a small county like Orleans, it would start to spread. So that was the reasoning for that. I hate to say it, I just think we're an experiment. So, but a lot of this can be researched. And I encourage people to look up their own information, so whether they can find out if they're pro or con. I have some extra handouts that were from the May 7th meeting. I'll leave these here. I have a limited amount. So I know there's some people in the audience that are awful interested in this. But most of these are already on the website. Okay, any questions? Thank you.
Was Orleans County chosen for this
I don't know.
by the state or what?
So the question is, was Orleans County chosen for this? I don't know. If you look at the stuff that's on the website, Joe Cardone put a lot of stuff on the website from past attempts to get this done in New York State. And looking at it myself, I think some of that information is incorrect. But it also explains the New York State Constitution is on there that explains that justice courts are constitutionally mandated. And the New York State Bar Association is actually behind this. I don't think they all are, but there's a few of them that are, and they're pushing it. So I think, personally, I think we're an experiment because we're a small county, but that's just my personal opinion.
Are there more counties?
No, we're the only one that I'm aware of. Nobody, and that was our question. Who else has tried this? And I don't believe there is anybody other than Nassau and Suffolk County. So there's no pattern, and we don't have $1.5 million in our justice court in each town court like Nassau and Suffolk County do. So, yeah,
Okay, thanks, Ed.
thank you.
Highway report.
Good evening. It's been a decent start on our spring work. Since last meeting, we've started our summer hours of 410s. The department has finished our yearly training, our dig safe requirements, plus water school. The last of our water school needs for them to recertify. With the town of Barry's help, we were able to repair Culvert Road,
Town Line Road and Sour Springs Road, the dirt end, plus sealed culvert in Town Line to aid in dust control and to keep from getting too many potholes. Thank you to the Berry Highway Department and special thanks to Tom. We had opportunity to assist Berry with the Harley rake and an operator to dress up some of their radiuses and snowplow damage. Did our quarterly water testing, finished tearing down plow equipment, cleaned up all cemeteries, leveled graves and seeded. Water is on, garbage cans in place. I'm very happy to relay to the board, after many years of seeing stones broken and laying in the grass, which has bothered us, not to mention the crooked stones, our MEO, Jeremy Beatty, has figured out how to repair them. It's a slow process, but Jeremy, along with CJ, have had great success. A great job done by you, too. The cemetery mowing has started with Sunshine Lawn being the mowing contractor. By our observations, they look very good for Mother's Day. Good job. Repaired a water main valve on East Shelby Road and repaired 2 fire hydrants. Fixed holes where we had ground out stumps. Hauled dirt for Medina School. Did many stakeouts. Installed a meter pit. And I'd like to say tonight a reminder that at the end of the month we will be sealing many miles of roads in the town. Please respect the work zone. Drive with care so we all can get home at the end of the day. Thank you. A big pat on the back to my staff for a great start on our busy season. And then to finish the never-ending stacking of e-waste. Thank you.
You, Dale. You check with him for the holiday, upcoming holiday, make sure everything's good on the cemeteries?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Up, Julie. Assessor's report.
Good evening. Since the first of the year, I have met with 18 Shelby residents, 9 in the village and 9 outside, to discuss their assessments and see if we could do anything. I made changes to everybody's. Letters were sent out the first of the month for any of the changes. Tentative roll is posted on the town website, and grievance date is set for May 29th from 4 to 8. Any questions? May 29th from 4 to 8.
You guys got any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you.
Planning board. Mr. Kirk.
Finally got the sign-in sheet for the training coming up in June from the county. 3 of my board members said that they wanted to attend. One was absent, and the other one was going to get back to me. I will reach out to the other 2 before I let them know. I also gave Dan a copy of the form that he was going to turn over to the ZBA. Next, we talked about the property up on Sanderson Road that you rezoned from ag residential to general business. One of the county's recommendation was to amend the comprehensive plan. We sat there at the meeting trying to figure out how to do it. Thought we knew how to do it. Dan ended up talking to Corey up at the county, and it's all taken care of. Thank you, Dan. And at the end of the meeting, we had some residents there that wanted to ask us questions. We answered, hopefully, to the best we could, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Dan, code enforcement, zoning.
Code enforcement report, it's getting to be building season now. I've issued 16 building permits year to date, and the last week it's been beginning to, they're beginning to come in. Continuing to work with the property maintenance violations. I've got about 30%, 30 to 40% positive response with that. Was requested by Orleans County Dispatch and the Orleans County Police Investigator several weeks ago to proceed to West Shelby Road, where I issued 7 violations for property maintenance, and I condemned a barn. I've inspected Western New York Energy fire safety inspections, Western New York Energy and air products, and I've had 1 court appearance regarding property maintenance violations with the Honorable Judge Grabowski. And I'll be continuing to work on that. That's it. I'll get you that.
Thanks, Dan. Okay. First resolution, the resolution to approve the town clerk's report from April. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sorry, was there any discussion? Okay, it's carried. Resolution to approve town board meeting minutes, April. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's carried. Resolution to approve special meeting minutes, April 18th. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. It's carried. All right, the supervisor's reports are not finished. Miranda's out with COVID. She's been out for a little over a week now. Resolution to approve to pay the claims against the town. Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Do we have an update on the revenue and expenditure report?
We will once Miranda comes back to work. She's been out.
We'll have an update, or we have the report?
No, well, depending on what Williamson does. We're going through an audit with the comptroller right now. As soon as I find out, I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
I'll shoot you guys an email. As soon as I can get it out, you guys are gonna get it. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
Abstain? Okay. Ed?
I'll abstain also.
Carried. Okay, we have a resolution going back to the software. What?
You made a vote for Steve, and then Jeff, and Linda, and Ed abstained. Did you vote?
Yeah, I voted with them, yeah,
Did.
yeah,
So do you need a motion?
yeah.
Okay.
The resolution to accept the water software upgrade quote. Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
A second?
I'll second it.
Yeah, that quote was for $67.71. I don't know if you guys remember.
We didn't get it. No, you were going to say, I don't know
Yeah,
if you were Dale.
Didn't you present it to the board several months ago? Yeah.
No, last meeting, what I remember is you were going to go get a copy, and we said, no, you can get it to us, but if you guys sent it out, I never got it.
No, I just asked him for a copy of it because I couldn't remember the amount that it was.
Okay, can I just see
Yeah,
it?
sure.
while we-
And that's a software we have to continue reading the water meters.
That's correct.
Okay. And we have no choice on that unless we buy all new water meters for everyone in the town. Okay.
Do you know how long the software, like, what's the normal lifespan of the software? When was the last time they did? Do you have any idea?
Since I've been here and for a few years prior, they speak of that we always had the same software. We did not have the program or the computer that we have today. We had a walkabout touch, and this is much more friendly as far as driving around town and getting the reads.
I'm just trying to determine how often are we gonna see a bill like this? Thank you.
I don't know. We'll have to reach out, but I don't think, I think for 10 years, I would assume it would be viable.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any further discussion on this? So we have no choice on this, Dale? If we want to operate, we have to approve the software.
That would be my, yes, you would.
So the software we got now is gonna be obsolete? I mean, it won't,
It's like a lot of software, they just won't fix it or work on
Won't
it.
update it.
Update it, yeah. If it goes down on you, they won't service it.
Okay, is there any other discussion on this?
yeah, you know of any other towns in, around the area that's had to do this, or with the same software?
The town of Albion has the same software, and they update it. I don't know all the rest of them, what they use.
You good, Ed?
Yep.
Linda, you good?
Yep.
Steve? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Resolution to approve New York State class investments. Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I got some notes from today's meeting. The lady who gave the briefing, New York class briefing, they use U.S. Bank. She was a former finance director. She was on the board. She was on the board for investments for Batavia and several other towns. It's the largest and oldest investment firm for municipalities. 1,400 municipalities, towns, schools, and fire districts invest in that. They have $14 billion in assets. The current percent interest rate, which is compounded daily, is 5.21%. There's 37 New York counties involved in it. There's no limit on daily moves in and out to move our funds if we got to pay bills. There is no fees for moving funds in and out. It's a secure online portal. They have 15 board members from across the state. They're yearly audited. They're triple AM rated. It's the highest rating you can have. And they operate under New York State general municipal law. So New York State regulates what they do. There's no fees and no invoices. We can wire or see ACH, either way. The cost of the program is 0.12%. So what they do each, did she say quarter or month, Ed, do you remember? What are the fees? The $14 billion,
Yeah.
however much interest they make on that, they take the 0.12% out of that out of the money they made, then they distribute it to each of the towns according to what you have invested. So a town like us that has, we'll say $5 million to invest, there's other towns that are investing $100 million. We benefit off of their money for such a high interest rate. Did I miss anything on that, Ed? You were taking good notes.
Yeah,
on that.
there's other towns in the areas, Barry, Carlton, Kendall, Town of Albion, Village of Lindenville, Village of Medina, and that's pretty much it around the area.
A lot of the local towns, right, Ed?
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of the local towns are into it, so it might be a good thing.
Not
Currently, we're in Thompson Bank here at the corner, and don't quote me, I think we're getting like 0.5% or 1% on some accounts, and the other money we're getting nothing. They're just checking accounts, so. Versus 5.8, 5.7, yeah. I know when I talked to Sean Pogue, I think last quarter, his interest was between $30,000 and $40,000 for the quarter. So that's free money for us. That helps with taxes or any projects we have. Anything else, Ed?
No.
Any questions, Linda?
Yeah, how liquid is the money? Like, how quickly can you get it back out if you want to draw
Immediately.
it?
She said immediately.
There's no penalty to draw it
No
out?
penalties. We can, if
Well,
we
when I say-
enroll, we can say tomorrow we want all our money back, and they give it immediately back. It's
Okay.
transferred
And the rate change is
daily. No,
not the rate earned, the rate change, like, so you're getting, whatever, what did you say, 5.25 now, but that, last month, I think it was 5.22, and so it changes monthly.
I think she said monthly is what. Do you remember what she said on that, Ed?
No.
Talk into your microphone.
No, I haven't. I don't remember that. What she said, if it was monthly or quarterly.
Yeah, 5.21% currently, no minimum or maximum. So
And she said if you wanted to terminate it, there's no termination penalty whatsoever if you wanted to move it somewhere else.
She also said that, that some of the banks that other towns have gone to, they went in and tried to take their money out, and the banks couldn't compete with them, or else they did try. Some of the towns stayed with them, but most everybody left and went back to their system because the money that they were making was so much better at 5.2%.
okay. Anything else, Linda?
No.
Steve, you got any? Jeff? Okay. All right. This is the resolution to approve New York State class investments. All in favor? We'll do a roll call vote. Jeff? Aye. Steve?
Aye.
Linda?
I'm going to abstain just because I wasn't able to attend the meeting, and I
Okay.
would prefer to hear a little more details, so just for that reason, I'm going to abstain.
Ed?
Aye.
And I vote yes also. So motion's carried. And Darlene, don't worry about that paperwork till you come back from. All right, next one is a resolution to approve engineering scope of work submitted by CPL. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we go with CPL.
Is there a second? Okay, it's open for discussion.
Okay, so I want to readdress now that Kathy's here. You weren't here at the last meeting, so I want to just confirm that even though that CPL is named in the lawsuit with GDEDC, this is no conflict of interest for us to do business with them when they're a named defendant. I don't know what the right word is.
I don't see it as a conflict of interest. Whoever's doing the work for Shelby is going to do what's in the best interest of Shelby.
And I guess the other question we also have a proposal from MRB. Is there no discussion? Nobody wants to investigate that proposal? Sorry, you can't hear me.
If you wish to. We have two proposals. I'll brief everyone on it. I came up with a scope of work. I sent it to Kathy Bennett. She approved it. I sent it to MRB, and I sent it to CPL. CPL came in at $4,000 for their work. MRB came in at $24,300 and some dollars for the same work. 6 times more expensive. And we got a bill for them submitting a proposal. So they're charging us for the man hours to submit a proposal to work for us to pay them. So,
Is
same
it-
scope of work for both.
And was that I'm sorry, so the scope of work, just so people know, was it for the whole town or just part of the town?
Just checking the pressures on Royalton, making sure everything's gonna work for Royalton. So before we put water vaults in and spend any money to connect more pipes, wanna make sure that's gonna work. So they're checking the pressures in Royalton and checking the pressures in Shelby to make sure that's gonna work. That's what that scope of work is for. Just checking pressures and make sure everything's gonna be good.
That isn't, it doesn't seem to me what MRB said their scope of what they were doing was. The 24,000 was for a lot more than just checking the pressures in one district.
Well, they got the same scope of work that they both were on the same email and they both acknowledged the email. Same scope of work they bid on. You verified that, right, Kathy? You went and checked when you saw the bids?
I compared the
Yeah.
the two, and it looked like it was the same scope of work.
Okay.
I understand that CPL's been doing a little work prior to this bidding. Have they been paid at all for the work they've done?
No. What work?
Well,
They've been out in several meetings. We've heard that they've been out pressure testing and.
Yeah, they did
I don't know if
pressure
the other thing-
testing, and if they didn't, because we had a contract, the board already had a contract with them for $19,000 that we approved last year. And if they did not receive the bid, if MRB beat their bid and we go with MRB, then CPL will submit a bill for the pressure testing that they did.
I'm sorry, I heard you, but I didn't understand that. So.
They have not billed us, no.
Are they gonna bill us the $19,000?
I was told they were not. If their bid is cheap enough and we go with CPL, I will have to verify this with CPL. I don't know for sure.
But that $19,000 approval from the board, which I think was last year, right, in 2023?
Yeah.
Was for them to look at Water District 13.
Yeah.
So that they have not done any they haven't done any other work
No.
for this new project that they're using as.
No.
As part of this $4,000.
No. When I talked to Jason, I'm trying to remember the conversation. I asked him what we owed him for that Water 13, and he said, I'm almost positive he told me they hadn't done anything yet on that proposal.
I'm not a construction expert, but does anybody else not think it's a little odd that we have one bid that's 4,000 and one that's 24,000? That clearly somebody's off.
Yeah.
But maybe we need a third one to determine which one is the one that's off.
yeah, it's hard to believe it's that much difference, really.
4,000
We're the
seems
same.
pretty cheap to me.
Same scope of work, yeah.
Bids are the same, they went out for the same thing. How can you compare oranges to apples?
Microphone.
I don't see it. You know, how can you change the scope of work when they received the exact same forms, each company?
Yep.
I don't understand how you could be worried about it. I mean, apparently MRB is definitely more expensive.
Yes, but you're assuming that MRB is the one that's more expensive. I'm playing devil's advocate, say, how do you know that CPL is not coming in way too cheap and not going to do the job the right way? That's all I'm asking.
Well, we did get that prior to MRB coming in. Remember, we discussed the email, the new proposal that CPL sent us. They broke down their $19,000 fee. They said they weren't going to work on 13, and they submitted a new proposal to us, and that's when you requested MRB to be here. That $4,000 was to check the pressures on Shelby and Royalton. That was part of their original. Out of their 19,000, they said, we're not doing this in 13, so here's what we're going to, this is what we're proposing for new fees. And then we got the briefing from MRB, and we sent out the scope of work to both engineering firms. That's not their, this is the board deciding on this. There's no public comment yet, John, sorry. What else do you have on this, Linda?
I guess I'm just concerned that we're going to, I feel like that when I look at this report, it seems to me like MRB
So they
is
were,
doing a lot more work.
That's not my problem. I submitted a scope of work, what they bid on for $24,000 and what CPL bid for $4,000.
Okay, so
I'd
I
be-
guess I just want to say then, so it seems to me what's possible is CPL is going to come in and do the pressure testing. We're going to find that we want to move forward, that the pressures work. Now they're going to come back with another bid and they could come in at 22,000. Now they're, for the same work, they could end up being more expensive than,
Could be, but that's not the scope of work that
Okay.
was given for MRB.
okay. I'm just, it just seems,
They both received the same scope of work to check the pressures, work closely with town, prepare hydraulic model,
do you not think
compare
we should,
flows.
do you not think we should reach out and find out?
No, they had their opportunity to submit their scope of work, their proposal. Both agencies submitted their proposals. We've all got them. We've all seen them. And we have a motion on the table to approve CPL. So we're gonna vote on CPL. Unless you got, and that, you still wanna move forward with your motion? Dave, with your second?
I second it.
Okay. No, you seconded it. You still wanna move forward. So
Yes.
we have a motion on the table that we need to vote on. Are you done with discussion, or do you have something else? We can discuss this for a while.
I'm feeling a little hostile here. I just was asking questions. I thought that was part of what we're supposed to do, vet out what we're voting on.
Yeah, and
Okay,
I don't see,
that's all
I
I-
don't see what, maybe I'm missing something. They both got the same request, specifically, this is what we want you to do, and we got their bids back. One for 24,000 and one for 4,000.
I guess it's,
so were they paid for the 19,000 that we,
Not yet, no. No money's been paid to them,
and we're not gonna pay a bill for 19,000
No.
if it comes in.
no, no. We look at-
It's really hard to believe it's gonna be that much difference. I don't know. So you're saying if we go with them, they're gonna waive the $19,000 study they did last year?
Yeah, they already submitted a new scope of work. Remember, I sent the email out to you guys. They said since we're not moving forward with Water 13 because it was so expensive, that's why they sent a new proposal, said why don't we, if you're interested in Royalton, here's our new proposal for the scope of work, this was part of that proposal. They kept the proposal the same, $19,000, but different scopes of the project, doing a pressure test, doing the line test, and whatever they're different. They submitted a new proposal for that 19, and that's when we had MRB come in.
So when MRB was here, Paul offered to write a scope of work, so we weren't really
sent me
sure
one.
what we wanted, and, right, and
yeah.
we saw that.
Mhm.
And then you somehow
Combined,
tailored that and
combined,
ran it by
yeah.
Kathy. Did we, I don't remember, if we did, I just don't remember. Did we get a copy of what went out to them for bid?
I'll have to check my email.
No, I don't think
I
we
don't
did.
remember
think
seeing
I don't
we did.
remember if you did.
No.
So I guess I don't, so you're asking me to know that MRB was asked for one thing and they gave something different when I don't even know what they were asked for.
Well, then just say that. Okay.
They're basically the same. MRB discusses it in a number of steps. CPL discusses it in bullet points, but it's the same scope of work.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Ed?
No.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Schiffer? Aye. Seitz?
Yeah.
Lemina?
No.
Zelini?
I'm a no.
And I vote yes, so that's carried. Does the board want to entertain these two resolutions that the judge presented tonight?
Not tonight. I don't. I'd like to read them.
Okay. Is there a, next month is fine? Okay.
Can I just make a comment on those resolutions?
Yes.
I think as an attorney who's practiced in a number of courts across the state, and my first trial was actually in a town court on a code enforcement matter, I think it would be a shame and a real loss if the local town courts were done away with. I think that, the judge is right that they're the courts that are closest to the people. With court systems as backed up as they are across the state, I think the town and village local courts are able to get things done and get things done sooner and to keep justice flowing. So I think it would be a real shame to see New York State do away with town and village courts, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. Board comment. Mr. Shiver? Mr. Seitz?
I got a question for the highway superintendent. Dale, I was out today when they were working on the trucks and cleaning up the trucks, and I was wondering, are we going to do some kind of spray or something on the frames of the truck? I noticed that they were...
Carwell will be coming up maybe later in the month, the 1st of June, to spray them, yes. We have done it every spring.
Okay, thank you.
While you're up there, I didn't mean to jump in. I usually go last. What's the status of the parking lot getting it resealed and painted?
I've talked to the Pro Seal, and they're talking with Sealmaster, and from what I gather, they're going to paint the existing lines, seal the whole parking lot again, and redo the lines.
And that's required because it's a year old? That we have to seal the parking lot that preserves it? New tar?
We sealed it last year, but the lines came right back through.
Oh, okay.
So with that being done, we have to do something now to readdress the lines that bled through and then reseal it and start with a new layer on top.
Okay. Ms. Lemina? Comments?
Yeah, Kathy, an update on the 2022 audit. Is Allied coming in to present that, or?
Yes, they are. We just need to set a date in which they'll do that.
The other thing is there was a water contract voted on last month. The copy that I received from Scott says it's a draft. Can that be changed?
Yes, I took that off of
And that,
the final version that was sent to Scott
okay, and then. I don't know
before
if
it was
anybody-
approved. I don't know why the copy that didn't have that wasn't circulated.
Okay, and then there was Jeff Brown's name was under Town of Shelby, you know that?
Yeah.
So that was,
Yeah, we removed that.
okay, and then the only other question I have is, number 18 talks about emergency water. If something happens and Royalton should need water, Shelby will sell it back.
It's only if we have it, right?
Yeah,
As I read that provision?
Yes.
Yes. So
But-
if we don't have it, we don't sell it back.
But if we have it, if we get it from Medina and sell it back, we're selling it back at $3, but we're paying $6 from Medina.
Our contract with Medina says we can't sell water, so we can't sell it to Royalton.
So
So then
we're-
why is it in, why
Because
would we leave it
Niagara
in
County
there?
wanted it in there. So, Niagara County decides,
Okay.
these are the contracts, so. I was gonna take it out, and Niagara County said, no, that has to be in there. We can't sell water from Medina, so.
So where are we gonna get the water to give, for
You-
$3 to give back to Royalton?
You just won't have it to give back.
Yeah, we won't be selling them water.
Okay, and I'm sorry, Kathy, one last thing. So with everything that's happened to the stamp project now and the Fish and Wildlife canceling the permit, and they have to resubmit the permit, does that give us leave to be able to rescind whatever okay we gave? And, I mean, I don't know the
So
specifics.
not in connection with the transportation corporation that was created, but whatever permits that they need to apply for, there will be new public comment periods associated with those. So the town will be able to provide its own public comments in favor of or in opposition to those various permits that they'll be reapplying for.
But there was some permission given by the Shelby board at the time that is allowing.
What the Shelby board consented to, didn't approve anything.
Okay.
The Shelby board consented to the formation of a transportation corporation, of a sewer works transportation corporation. It's a consent. There's so there was really no discretion, right? It's not like when a town board issues when a planning board issues a special use permit or site plan approval, right? There's a whole set of criteria that you look at, and that's what you base on when you give that approval. This is just a simple consent, and basically when a transportation corporation is created, setting up utilities, in this case the sewage treatment works, what the statute likes to make sure doesn't happen is that these transportation corporation's a private company, right? So in a situation where you're dealing with water and sewer specifically, the state set up the statute to allow for the private corporation to fail, basically. I'm sorry. Talk a little softer. To allow for the transportation corporation, if that fails, then the municipality in which that transportation is located in has to take over providing that service. In this case, that was taken over by the town of Albion. Or I'm sorry, Alabama. Yes, sorry, Alabama. But because the pipes were going to run through the town of Shelby, Shelby also needed basically to consent to the formation of that corporation. And because the Orleans County Health Department had previously consented to it, I guess, the board asked my opinion. I was like, you can, right? If as long as they did, you can. There's no liability to the town of Shelby from the creation. The town of Shelby would never be on the hook for having to provide those services or to take care of that line, because if the corporation ever failed, the town of Alabama would do it. So that was really the only thing that the board was considering was, okay, we're not going to be liable for any of this, and sure, if you want to form a corporation, form a corporation.
So what allows them to be able to empty here in the town of Shelby then?
The permits from the DEC and Fish and Wildlife.
Are we not a third owner of that pipe, though?
No.
Giving them a consent?
No, you are not. There is documentation provided to that effect. So yes, when they reapply for those permits, the town should comment.
At a minimum.
At a minimum,
Anything
yes.
we can do.
Right.
I'm sorry, one last thing. So at one of our, not the last meeting, I believe the meeting before, we voted on that we did not want to make any kind of local law regarding the windmills. What, can you give us an update, or is that not? You sent a letter to Borrego.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Not anything at all. Yeah.
Okay.
I will let you know if I do.
Okay.
We need to look into the windmill law anyways that we have, Linda, and put a limit on heights and stuff, and drop down zones and all that, yeah.
Yeah, that would be something if you want to have a work session on to figure out what you wanted the new law to say. That would be a good work session topic.
Are you good, Linda?
Yes, thank you.
Ed?
I want to update on the town inventory. Have you got any,
That's ongoing. Each department's getting with Beth. We ordered in a new hand scanner so we can barcode everything and scan it, and that'll be in. She's moving on it, but she's got to wait. It's going to take a little while to get it done. It's got to be updated. But I told her I'd like it done by the end of June, so we'll see.
And also the update on the painting in the building. Are they gonna start this month or next month or?
Reached out to Job Corps Renee quite a few times, and she was supposed to contact me to meet. As far as I know, they're going to come and prepare the building, clean up and paint.
Did she say when?
She hasn't, I reached out, talked to her on the phone a few times, and she was going to come over to look at the scope of the work, and haven't seen her.
Okay. Have you priced paint yet, or figured out how many?
No.
She'll do that?
Yep.
Okay. We can use ARPA funds for that. And actually, we have to, by the end of this year, we have to designate the remainder of the funds or we lose them. We don't have to spend them till 26, but we have to come up with projects to use the remainder of the ARPA funds. And that has to be by the end of this fiscal year.
How much is that?
It's over 100,000. I don't know the exact figure. We were saving a big chunk for the building because that was going to be close to that for painting and scraping. But if we can get Job Corps to do it, then that helps us out. Anything else, Ed?
Yeah, also, last meeting that clerk requested that the audio was recorder removed out of her office. I was wondering if that was done yet.
No. Not unless the board approves to do it.
I'll move to have the audio recorder removed out of the office. I don't see why there should be one in there.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion. That was requested by the town clerk, and it was put in, approved by the board last year. You voted on it, Ed. We all voted on it. When the new security wall went in, the camera went in, updated camera, and the microphone, that's for the clerk's security. That's what she requested it for, and that's why we approved it as a board. Any other discussion?
Oh, can I speak?
Not really, no. It's a board discussion.
Public time?
Hmm?
Can I when it's time to public?
You can now. Go ahead.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna say it then.
Yeah, go ahead.
What happened was there was discussion about the security in my office. And to make a long story short, we talked about the wall going up. And there was mention about the cameras. And there would be stuff on film that, yes, you could see somebody attack somebody, but you would not hear what's going on. And through that, it was just talking about it that next thing I know, 3 months after it had been put in my office, because that was put in July, and the wall got put in December, and I was not told that there was an audio camera in there. My concern is that there are some things that the clerk does that is confidential with her clients, such as social security numbers, dates of birth when you're doing marriage licenses, and I don't want that on the audio. And I do know that I was foiled for something that happened just prior to the election on a certain day. And that was how I found out that I had an audio camera in my office. The security wall we knew all about. That was discussed a few times, and it was being done while I was sitting in my office. But the audio recording, the audio thing, I never knew that. That was put in July, 6 months before the wall went in. And like I said, I knew nothing about the wall or the audio. Nobody ever said anything about the audio being in. They didn't come to me and say the audio was in. I do think it was a misunderstanding, and I will say I would like to have the audio taken out of my office. Thank you.
Do you have an opinion on that, Kathy?
Do I have an opinion?
Legal opinion?
I don't have a legal opinion on that.
Jeff, you got anything?
You can't see any reason to have it at all. I mean, for your own security.
No, I don't. I mean, for security, I've got the wall now. I'm happy with that.
What if something happened, we needed something recorded, as far as what threats towards you or something?
People can go into Dan's office or Beth's office and be irate because they haven't paid their water bill and their water's being shut off. I can see that happen. So they need to have cameras put in their office as well, if that's going to happen. If I'm going to have an audio camera, I believe everybody's office should have an audio camera.
You good, Jeff? Steve?
I really don't care, and if she wants to have it out, I don't care. I think that, it should really be up to her, I guess.
Okay, you got anything else, Linda? Ed?
No.
Okay, let's, do a roll call vote on this. The vote will be, vote yes if you want the camera removed, or no if you want the camera to stay. Ed? Wait. Audio, I'm sorry. If you want the microphone taken out. The audio part disabled. Vote yes if you want audio disabled. Vote no if you don't.
I vote yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Steve?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with the majority. Yes.
Linda did.
Linda and Ed. Okay.
I got one more thing. I know we voted at one of the special meetings regarding the latest investigation. I was wondering if there's any update on that.
That should probably be an executive session thing.
We could discuss that in executive session, and then depending on what the board decided, we would report back out from executive session.
Yep.
You good, Ed?
Yep.
Okay. Board comments. Public comments. John Pratt.
It just brought to mind here a quick question for the highway superintendent. How many of the MEOs have their water license? And Dale, do you have your water license? Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Currently, 3 MEOs have their water license. No, I do not have mine.
Dale, are you required to have a water license to perform your job as a superintendent?
No, I'm not.
Thank you. Barb DeLuzio. Oh, I already spoke. Okay, thanks, Barb. Thanks for being there this morning. Mr. Parada. What do you prefer, Yannick or John?
Yannick.
Okay, Yannick, okay. I wasn't sure, I've heard it both ways, so I want to make
It
sure.
doesn't matter, just don't call me late to dinner. But, no, just, back in March, I was up here asking about, the cutting of the media on the parkway. So, nothing's been done yet, and we're all cutting it, and there's probably this high and a drench in front of my house. When are we gonna start cut? When are we gonna start cutting?
It's all right,
You
Dale,
didn't-
it's comments, it's not questions and answers. I'll find out, I'll get you an answer, John.
Okay.
we'll discuss it. I will
And,
find out.
and
for you.
another thing is, about CPL and B, to me, them two should have been in here doing a presentation before you guys voted. If you're getting a roof put on your house, you're gonna take the $4,000 one, or you're gonna take the 24,000? There's gotta be a big difference in what you guys are seeing there. So that presentation, they should have been in here doing it. We've been waiting for months for them to come back and do a presentation. Now you're saying they're not gonna do one. So I just can't believe that you're gonna jump on this thing for $4,000. And who's gonna pay the rest when it comes in to be 20 or 30 or 40,000? Us?
Okay. Thank you, John. Yannick? Larry Waters.
Not looking to beat a dead horse here, but got my latest water bill, $200 once again, and the pesky $25 service charge. I still have yet to have a good explanation as to what that actually is. I want to refer to your editorial, Scott, that you had on the Hub in regards to potentially getting water from Niagara County. We currently purchase from the Village of Medina. The town of Shelby adds a maintenance fee to maintain and repair the town's water infrastructure. And then you go on to talk about Niagara County Water at a rate of $3 per 1,000 gallons through an existing connection. Again, Shelby would have to add on a maintenance fee to maintain the infrastructure. What I've been told about this service fee, and again, this is District 1, the oldest district of the districts, a pipe that's been long paid for, and I don't believe that District 1 is currently responsible for any bond payments on anything that I'm aware of. To me, it's the way this is presented. It's a double taxation. You're tacking fees on top of fees. You're buying the water for $6. You're selling it for $9 for maintenance and repairs, and then you add on this service fee. I mean, nobody's carrying buckets of water to my house. You know, what is this fee, and is it held separate? When you look at the budget, there's a budget line for service charge, and it's $50. So I don't even think we completely understand where all that goes or how that works. And there was an overall 69% projected increase in appropriations for District 1 for 2024. Going back to a letter from Sadari, this may be a bit dated, but he points out that in exchange for the town of Shelby mowing the lawn at the tower, that they will pay for the electric to run the 2 pumps that run 24/7. I don't know if that still is the case or not. I just don't feel that this is presented in a way that I feel comfortable with, and to be honest with you, I just don't feel responsible for that portion of the bill. And it's going to come down to some FOIL requests to understand how this money is split out. Is it put in a general fund for the District 1 water, and we just dial it out as necessary? It's just ridiculous to me. I know we're working towards trying to reduce the cost of water, but I just can't tolerate bills like this. I don't go and turn the hose on and just let it run. And I haven't even filled a pool yet this year, and I'm afraid of what that bill is going to be. So just wanted to add my 2 cents on that. The other thing is Dale was collecting information about the makeup of the pipes coming into the house. Does that require, where's Dale? He left. Oh, good man. I don't know if we could just verbally tell him. Do we have to email a picture of the pipe? Does, you know, somebody have to come and look at that? I don't know if there was a time frame on that. I did take pictures of it. I just, a busy man, believe it or not, didn't have time to, you know, monkey around with sending in pictures of the composition of the pipe coming into the house. And the other thing I do want to comment on, the difference between MRB and CPL is MRB already did a study, and I read through that study, and I don't believe that they are a proponent of solely getting water from Royalton without substantial infrastructure investments, tanks, lift stations. They have hydraulic rate concerns, fire flow concerns. So I think that's where your difference is. And if you recall, CPL was only given about a month notice before he came in and did his presentation. So for whatever that's worth. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hemingway.
Just want to speak to the water issue again. We keep going over and over. Water certainly is a hot button. There are a lot of places here in Shelby that don't have water yet. Certainly, we lose a lot of water, or Shelby does, to leaks. You're paying more than you want to from Medina. It's admirable that you want to reduce the costs. But to me, so far, what I see is a hodgepodge, or even not even the hodgepodge of ideas to try to reduce this without a singular defined project to address all of those issues. I spent my career managing projects. I never would have accepted anything like this without a plan in place with a definition of what the project was to address all of those issues, to address the lost water, to address a new supply, to address those people that don't have it. Not, we're going to do this today, checks and pressures, oh, we're going to do this sometime. How about a plan so that we can see, that the board can act on, you get the appropriate studies done at the appropriate time, and make the decisions on a grand plan. Water is probably, not probably, it is the biggest dollar item in the Shelby budget. The maintenance, the buying, the supply, the support, and yet there's no plan in place. You had a small scope of work that you sent out. You got two massively different, apparently massively different proposals. And I've seen the old MRB one. That was quite extensive. It sounds to me like all that CPL is going to do is checks and pressures a few places. And yet you also have a $19,000 study that you've approved last year, hasn't been billed, and still no real answer on whether that's going to be part of it. They still access to billing it, and I didn't hear anything to the negative that they can't go ahead and do that. So I really would like to see you guys put your heads together, come up with a real plan, rather than 4,000 here, 24,000 to MRB at some point. How are you going to address all these issues? I don't know how much you're losing in water, but I got to believe it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. To me, that ought to be part of any plan that you put together, not just get some pressure tests, because if you get pressure tests someplace, get water from Royalton. Those same leaks are still going to leak, maybe even more because the pressure is higher. So what's the overall plan to address all of those issues? And I think that it's really up to you guys to put that together, and I think it would take care of a lot of the questions that not only the audience has, but that certainly certain people on the board have. Thanks.
Okay. Those two are waiting. We did. Make sure I got everything. Median. Okay. You guys got anything else? Okay. Can I get a motion to end the meeting? Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Vote aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Thanks, everyone. Meeting is adjourned or closed. What do I say? Closed or adjourned?